Today we're going to be fixing another LR3 instrument cluster, and the part number on this one is YAC502470. And the customer was experiencing a lot of different issues. So they had the cluster would turn on and off while driving. They had the HDC system faults. The drive terrain mode was not available. They were triggering fault codes that were stating the vehicle was unable to communicate with the cluster. The fuel gauge and the speedometer stopped working. The info screens stopped working, and the alarm also was not working. So right now we're pulling 0.4 amps at 12 volts. But if I just tap it, the cluster just turned off, and all I'm doing is just tapping the cluster, giving it vibration, I guess mimicking what you would get from the road, from driving. Oh, there we go, just turned on. So it's very intermittent. Let's go ahead and open it up and find out what's going on inside. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair over a decade ago, and in the last couple of years, we've fixed over 100 of these instrument clusters. So currently we're pulling 0.12 amps, and if I put pressure on this IC chip, I can trigger it to start working. If I let go, then we're back to the 0.17. Let's put pressure again. And it works, turns on, 0.3 amps. And we can hear it ding. If I let it go, okay, it's still okay, but let's tap it a little bit. Okay, and now it is back to 0.16. So I can repeatedly turn it on and off simply by putting pressure on this IC chip right there. So what that tells me is that we have a connection issue with that IC chip, and that's what we're going to be fixing today. Now, as you can tell, there is actually conformal coating sealing the chip. So my first step is to remove that. The chemical we're using is from MG Chemicals, and it's simply called conformal coating remover. And so we're going to brush on a layer onto our chip, coating all sides. And we'll let that sit for about 30 minutes. We'll reconvene and see what's going on with the conformal coating, and hopefully we'll be able to remove it all. So it's only been about 20 minutes, but as you can see, the conformal coating remover has been activating, and now we're actually not seeing any bubbling occurring right now, which means that I believe it has already, I guess, been spent and done its job as much as it can. So using a Q-tip, we're going to try and remove as much of the conformal coating as we can. And then we'll use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and a brush, and we're going to try and remove the rest and get some of that conformal coating between the pins. All right, that's pretty clean. So it's pretty clean, but we still have a lot of conformal coating in between the pins. And so I want to try and get to that layer. We got the top layer off, but there's still a lot in there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a second round of conformal coating remover. And hopefully this time we can get into that deeper layer that's in between the pins, behind the pins, and try to get rid of some of that. All right, and we'll let that sit for another 20 minutes or so and reconvene. So I've been actually picking at the board a little bit, trying to get some of the conformal coating out from in between each pin, just individually with this little tool. And I've been able to get a good amount out, and so we're gonna keep doing that. It doesn't have to be perfect. We don't need to get 100%, but it will help us with the reflow process. The less conformal coating we have in the way, the easier it will be for us to solder these back down properly. The conformal coating is more or less locking in some of these pins, and they are the issue. They're not connected properly to the board. I guess I did skip a few steps, but as we'll see here in just a few moments, I'm gonna rake these pins, and we're gonna find out that not all of them are soldered down. Some of them are loose and no longer making a proper connection to some of the pads. And so what we're gonna do is called a rake, meaning we're gonna be putting a little bit of pressure with this tool to all the pins, and oh, you see this one? This one is loose, it's moving. Same with the one to the left of it. So both of these are loose. Oh, this one's loose as well. This one's loose, 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 Okay, so almost all of these are. But the first couple were not. But it looks like a majority of these are. Yep, I can move them. I don't know why, but it does always seem like right here, this section is the section that has the most loose pins, followed by a close second over here. Typically, these first couple pins are also loose. And let's see, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that one completely moved over. See if we can get a little bit. We have a lot of conformal coating left in here. So that conformal coating more or less kind of, I guess, locks these pins into place. So it makes it really hard to tell if the pins are loose, which is one of the reasons that we do want to remove the conformal coating so that we can identify whether or not we actually have loose solder connections or not. But what we're going to do is, regardless of them being actually soldered down properly or not, is we are going to reflow every single one of them, because even though they may not have, even though the solder joints may not have failed on all of the connections, they're definitely weaker than they were on the day that the cluster was manufactured. So we're going to reinforce every single one of these with fresh solder. And we'll do the rest off screen. We'll come back once the chip is fully cleaned off. All right, so again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We obviously still have a little bit of conformal coating left in between each one of the pins, but that's gonna be okay. We at least have the pins fully exposed and the pads fully exposed in such a way that we should be able to get good enough connection with our new solder in such a way that we'll have a good long-lasting repair. So I'm gonna add a tiny little bit of solder. We're not doing much, just a little bit. Enough to create a little bit of a bridge. And then we're just gonna carry all that solder over. And let's see, can we get rid of the bridge? Okay, we did. All right, now let's do a quick inspection of the work we just did. So I'm just looking to make sure that there is enough solder on every single one of the pins and that I didn't accidentally leave a bridge behind. And it's looking pretty good. So what I'm looking at and looking for is that little bump of solder on the trace and a nice clean shiny pin. And I want to see the mound from the trace going towards the pin, which we are seeing on all of these. And so in comparison, we don't have really any solder here. The pad is very flat, and I do have a solder mound on the pin itself, but I don't see it on the pad. And I don't have obviously that connection since that pin is loose. So same process, we'll start over on the right. We'll add a little blob of solder. And we're going to, that's probably too much, just bring it over. And as I'm bringing it over, I'm leaving a healthy amount on each pin and pad behind. So we'll use a desolder wick. Ooh, is that too much? I think we're okay. Same process on our third side. If you have a defective cluster that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer the flat rate services, which come with a 1-year warranty, and those are available on our website, which I will link in the video description down below. Oh, beautiful. That was clean. Same process. Oh, I think I might have bent that pin, possibly. Ah, shoot, I did. Okay, we'll have to fix that in a moment. All right, so I swapped out my tip to a smaller tip. And there we go. For a second, I thought I had soldered the tool to the pad. Let's do a quick cleanup. We added a good amount of flux. We're gonna wanna remove all of that flux. I typically like to start with a Q-tip, get the majority of the flux removed off of the board, and then we'll finish it off with a brush. And we'll do the rest of the cleaning off screen because this is going to take a few minutes. All right, so we have finished cleaning. We're going to do a final rake test. And I'm going to try to be fairly aggressive on this. Should be fine. Again, we're going to start a little higher on the pins here. And this side was not loose at all. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 possible loose pins, and I don't know why, but I do know that the bottom side typically is the side that fails most commonly. And our last side, I'm going to start with this one here. Okay. All right, sometimes when I do the raking, we get small little shards of solder come loose, so we're just going to do one more little quick clean. All right, that looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and do a final life test and see what's going on. So we'll go ahead and power on our power supply. And our cluster is on. And let's do a little tapping. And my power is very consistent, 0.38, 0.39. When I'm putting pressure and tapping, 0.38, 0.39, not much of a change. So we have a successful repair, but before we call it a video, we're going to seal the chip. So also MG Chemicals, we're using the 419D acrylic conformal coating. And typically I prefer to do this outside, but for today's video, we're gonna do it inside. Just because some of these chemicals have really potent smells, but we're just coating it. So the reason we want to seal it is because of the proximity of the pins to one another. When pins are that close to each other, if there's a little bit of dust, a little bit of moisture, then we can actually get bridging to occur, and signals or power can bridge from one pin to the other. Obviously, we don't want that. So by sealing it, by coating it, we are going to prevent that from being able to happen. The chip is sealed. We've put it partially back together. I've misaligned some of the gauges. We're going to do a final test, and we want to make sure that everything more or less is able to reset where it should. Let's go ahead and turn it off and on a couple of times, and it looks like that's the case. Let's go ahead and put this back on, and we're all set. Everything's locked in. And that's going to complete our repair. If you found the video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.